right, good morning everyone. Good to have you here. Paul Trani, that's fine. Monday morning. Welcome everyone. Be Creator, Design Sario, and others. Basically, if you could hop over to good old behance.net/live, that would be great, because that's where I'm hanging out right now. Hopefully the music's okay and not too loud. It's slightly loud in my ear, but that's okay. This is a getting started stream where I'm going to talk about the fundamentals. So basically, I do these getting started streams every Monday morning based on a certain topic. This week, it's all about Adobe XD, because that's what's happening in the studio this week. So again, the streams vary, and so do these Monday streams. So, or at least the streams in the studio. So, a little more light on my face. Fantastic. Oh, what a day. Good morning, everyone. I want to, just let me know where you're from. Oh, there we go. Bojana, Paul, Alvarez in the house. Mike, Miriam, Antonio, Ricardo, there we go. Jimmy. Mellow voice this morning. I get it. I just woke up. So quite a weekend. My niece just turned 21, so I took her out, and that was a good time. So, just so you know, I kind of want to point you, hopefully you are on behance.net/live. I'm going to change to that, my desktop really fast, just so you can see obviously the schedule of people that will be there this week. Okay, so this is what's happening right now. You guessed it, of course. Howard's going to be doing about 30 minutes of what's new in Adobe XD, and then we have basically it's Josh and Wada. Heba is going to be up as well. She's been a guest of ours doing Adobe XD, or excuse me, doing UX UI design. Christine Lee as well. So basically every day clear till like 3 p.m. So that's what's happening, and that's the schedule. So let's dive into this. I want to hear from you. Oh, Antonio's from Macedonia. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Yeah, you're funny, Paco. All right, buddy. All right. Oh, yeah, that's actually 100% true. Sorry about that. I had the wrong lower third there. That is correct. Okay, so this is Adobe XD. Sorry about that. Let's dive into this. Again, this is all about getting the fundamentals done and sort of getting you caught up, because last year what happened is we had so much going on and so many features released each month. Like, how does that fit into sort of a getting started picture? So and that's what I want to show you right here. I'm pointing you to it because all you need to do is just do an Adobe XD new features, and it's this first link right here, and you can see the sort of massive features that were released last year. Okay, we have new ones coming very soon, and yes, fantastic. Right on, Miriam. I'm so glad you missed this. I missed this too. Again, just, you know, obviously with the holidays and everything, schedule got kind of thrown off. We've only been back basically a week and everything. So let's dive into this. You can see these number of features right in here. So we have some, features that you just are going to happen automatically. We have autosave and just different features that are going to help you to work faster. So I think getting started in Adobe XD like now is just better than ever. So again, object flip, this is something people have asked for a while. Again, this is getting started, but I'm going to be using some of these new features. But even as I scroll down, you can see, again, everything that we've added. So if you started XD a while ago, notice that we've released a ton of features since then, all right? I've been doing this a while. What is cool is you could really start with any app that you want. So if you're comfortable with Illustrator or Photoshop, you can bring those assets right into Adobe XD, or you can just start creating in Adobe XD as well, okay? Again, this is a learning stream. Good morning, Kahid. I might not be able to focus on the chat pod as much as usual. Jaren, Preeti, Avalon, if you could hop over to behance.net/live. that would be great. All right, because that's the chat pod that I'm watching. It's kind of hard to keep track of too, okay? So like I said, I could have graphics in other programs. So here's Photoshop, and then of course here is good old Illustrator. So from here, you know, any graphic that I make, as I draw this out, let's just remove that shadow, I can bring this into Adobe XD and get started right away, okay? Or I could use the tools in Adobe XD. I'm gonna launch Adobe XD right now. You'll notice even if you started a year ago, the layout here is different because I have my recent files. You're probably not gonna have this. If you are just launching Adobe XD, it'll actually give you a different module. But nonetheless, sort of this is typically where you wanna start, one of these layouts, okay? And there's also a tutorial there. So that's just a file, as if you made your own file, just something that you can mess with, okay? Some other things I can talk about are cloud documents and then add-ons or plugins. So yeah, is there an update this month? Yes, there is. Ahmed, for sure. I can't really leak what it's about just yet, but to make sure you're up to date, go right over here, 2 apps, and then if you have Creative Cloud, your desktop app running, so XD, just make sure that says open instead of update. All right, cool. All right, let's dive into this. So created a new file. I could do Command 0. My shortcut keys are going to work the same, right? Zoom in, zoom out. Command plus minus if you're used to using Photoshop or Illustrator. Typically, I'll have a splash screen, right? So right up here, I'm just typing in splash. You can see it right there, okay? So when I have this selected, this is actually my artboard. So from here, I can actually just select any color that I want for that background, okay? Awesome, Ty. Feel free to ask questions if you want. But so I can pick any color that I want. Typically, I'll do like black. I could get a little more fancy right over here because you have, beyond a solid color, we have linear gradient and we have a radial gradient as well. So I can say, you know, let's make a linear gradient. Let's have it go from the upper left to the lower right, right over here. And guess what? Let's change those colors as well. So in fact, let's just change this to a nice blue. Something like that. And that could be my background, okay? All right. Hello, Gina in Chicago. Good to have you here. Let's dive into this a little further. So this is my first screen. I have options right over here off to the side, all my drawing tools, okay? So I'm gonna make a movie website, okay? So I'll start with maybe a rectangle just like that, okay? And this movie website is gonna be sort of like entertainment that's popular for your specific area. So since I live in Denver, I want this to be a music service for Denver. Like, what is everybody like watching these days? And what are people even like listening to? What entertainment is available to them? Okay, so I can make it just like a fun icon. I'm zooming in. Notice that even though this shape's selected, I can change the properties off to the side. So I can change, love Mexico City. This down like this if I want to, right? I can double click on it and make it sharp. And now I have like 2 options for the logo, but that may or may not be open depending on what your last settings were. But look what it says. It's like one is now a path. Instead of it being an ellipse, it's now a path. And then I have this rectangle. So right. All right, everyone. Looks like I'm back. Hard to tell. All right. Okay, B Creator says I'm back. Should be green right here, so that's how you should be able to tell. That's how I was working on the output. Cool. All right. Fantastic. Let's do this. So sorry about that. Lost some time, but you're too pleasant. You're too kind. I haven't read all of the chat, but I'm sure they're like, what's going on? You know, you dropped. Anyways, it is Monday and things happen. So I had to just basically restart everything. Cool. All right. Okay, cool. So let's just dive back into this. If you do have any questions that you mentioned in chat the past 20 minutes, let me know. I guess I'll just kind of continue on my way. There's so much more that I'd want to do. So yeah, it's Monday. If you ever have network issues, just restart everything. Even your routers and your modems, and I had to restart Wirecast as well, and now you know. But what I'm doing is actually just creating an icon for an entertainment service right now, and I'll fast forward this really fast in a second, but basically I can take any objects, group them, flip them, and this is what I want to do next, because I love this. You can already see it looks like a film reel. Right up here, the Boolean Operations. Okay. That would be funny. Paul, I should have switched to the final design. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select subtract right up here, this Boolean operation, which I absolutely love. So check this out. Like, it's not destructive like in Illustrator or other apps. Because look, as I move it over, it still keeps that math. So you see that there? Still keeps all that math, which is awfully nice. So yes, I am going to fast forward, by the way. Here's my logo. Right, and we would just call this logo. Right, keeping everything organized. I can even have an assets panel. I can drop this into the assets panel as well, adding it as a symbol. And there's my logo as well. And then I can take my colors and add them right there as well. Cool. So be creator. Yeah, I guess it could, Jimmy, it could be a film reel or a guitar pick. It's actually, I'm trying to mimic a location icon. So that's what I'm going with. So if I need to grab something from someplace else, in fact, I will just search for, probably already have it in here, but map. Again, just stealing from Illustrator. I'm going to take these graphics, copy them, paste them. You get it. Looks like I'm still up and running. What was going on earlier? Dun dun dun. Okay, what is this called? This is called Reel. Yeah, it's non-destructive, Paul. You know what I'm talking about. Good to hear. Reel. Could call this whatever I want. And really what I'm working on is kind of covering the fundamentals, but talking about some of the things that are really unique to Adobe XD, like this control point right here, for instance. So I can grab this control point, and this allows me to just quickly resize the text. And then I have other options, of course, right in here. Any designer knows, I'm sure Paul knows, like, you know, you stretch out those letters. Anytime you add that sort of level of kerning, make them all caps, center, and then let's have some fun with the fonts as well. I'm actually tabbing through different ones right over here off to the side. There we are. There we have roughly the logo. Ooh, good. Jimmy Mitchell with a good call. If I duplicate this splash page, I can also add other graphics from the desktop. And I'm going to hurry up and do this really quick. I have assets in here. I can start to highlight some of these really cool images that I have, okay? And typically what I like to do is I like to create a container, okay? So I'll just draw out a rectangle, and then I'll grab an image and drop it right in there, like that, okay? And notice the layers panel, just like any other layers panel, is actually contextual. So yes, I do want to drag that to the bottom and bring her up like that. Maybe that's the image. Maybe I want to swap it out. It's really just a matter of seeing what's going to look good for this particular project. See, that's landing right on their nose. So again, just something like that that I'm playing with. I now have two different ideas for like the splash screen, okay, is what I'm working on. Some things that we actually don't have, and actually let me show you this. Check this out. You actually don't have blend modes, which might be kind of nice. But let me grab an image that's maybe not so distracting. Is it a skull? That's pretty cool. Or that looks pretty cool. But let's take a look at the effects that you get. So off to the side, we can, of course, adjust the transparency, all that stuff. But you also have this capability right over here. For this text, I can add a shadow to set it off some. Or I can actually turn on background blur. Okay, so that will actually blur out the background for that particular asset. If I want to brighten it up, I can brighten it up. And it's actually taking the color of that background. And as I move it around, you can see what it does there. So I might consider that as an option. Keep in mind that as I select this, you know, you're not always going to have that option is what it comes down to. But keep in mind, background blur is going to be great anytime you're dealing with text. It's going to help sort of offset that text from the background. Okay. Okay, so moving on. Let's just duplicate this page as well. Let's actually remove most of this stuff. I hardly need to duplicate it, but I would like at least maybe this text at a different size. And changing the kerning as well. Here we have, you know, one movie item, right? And typically what I would want to do is make this look like album art. So shrink this down. This will be the title of this particular movie or show. And I'll drop that right in here. This is a case where I'd actually want to grab maybe a panel right here, stretch it out, and I don't even have to worry about the color, but I certainly think this black or gray is kind of boring. This is typically where I'll use background blur. Turning that on, making that a little darker, and just kind of resting at the bottom like that. Okay, so I have that. That's set up. This is my title art. I'll select these two, just kind of shrink them up a little more. And I'm going to take this and use repeat grid. Okay, Eric? Oh, you're too kind, Eric. Repeat grid, selecting that, and I can duplicate it horizontally, as we can see, excuse me, horizontally as I tile this out, give it a number of columns, and then also, as we can see, on down the line, vertically, giving it all these different rows and columns, okay? So this obviously gives me a lot of power. Typically, I would probably adjust this a little further to make it nice and tight, do something like that. I'd probably make this larger. I can always double click and change this content as well. See, as I move it around, I can maybe make this smaller in size because the titles are gonna change, right? How can I make all those graphics and titles change? Well, hey, just select all the graphics you want, drop them in there, and they're done. Right? What about the titles? Guess what? I have a titles txt file right here. So here's the txt that fits with all of the various images. Dropping that on, and you can see it propagates on down just like that. Okay. Typically, I probably want to change this as well. Expand this out. Cool. Done and done. That's what you want when it comes to Adobe XD, creating this tileable. Let's move on from there, because what if I want this to be really long? And this is sort of my main page. And I'm going to take this, and really this content is going to be super long. Okay, let me just adjust this. Boop. There's going to be lots of titles down here. Okay. In fact, I want this main page to be much longer. So I'll grab this and scale that down. As I bring that down, look what I get right here. Can you see that? It gives me this fold line, okay? That equates to, right over here, the viewport height is set to vertical. Okay, so now I can say, hey, you know what? That's perfect. If I move that, of course, it's gonna make that viewport height smaller. But the fact is, the artboard is larger than the viewport. Right? So when I start linking this together, basically you're going to be able to scroll it. So clicking play, scroll through all this content, right? This is the fundamentals. This is stuff you need to know how to do, right? And it's super powerful as well, right? So let's just create a new page. This one, in fact, is going to be the, let's just go with this. Boom. Title art for this particular movie. Okay, so we have a sparrow. Yes, so cool. We're just having fun with this. Helvetica new. Light. And this is just art stuff. I'm just like making this look elegant. I try to have this as thin as possible. And actually, let's change this to white. Right? Nice and elegant like that. Okay, this is my content page. Like that. Yes, Helmet, I am all, that you make it sound so sad. All by myself today? Yes, so I can get some work done. But not to worry, just so you know, if you jump out to the schedule page this week, Howard's going to be up tomorrow morning with what's new. Josh, Heba, and then we also have Christine Lee all this week in the offices. I will not be there because I'm at home, but that's what's happening. All right, so you have Sparrow. You're going to have the content for it. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm already running out of time. I am going to link this content up, though, by the way, going into prototype. Let's just link this page to the second one. Boom, there it is. It's just going to do, I don't know, let's actually do a slide left. Let's do a slide up. Okay, so it's going to come up from the bottom. Zoop, just like that. Okay. Great. Let's grab this logo. Shrink it down. move this down, because guess what? I just realized I should have a back button. So right up here, this is going to be my back button, right? Like that. Sure, let's just do that. That's always going to take you back to the home page. Just getting fancy. Going into prototype, I'll link it back to that previous screen, but instead of doing, you know, doing a slide down and all that, I'll usually do this. I'll do previous artboard. So when you tap on that button, it's just going to reverse that transition and go to the previous one. You don't have to worry about it. So great, right? So use that plenty. I know I will. The great thing is I can copy this, I can paste it on this page, and look, it keeps that interaction as well, okay? So that's what you want to do. And sure enough, like right in here, this is a repeat grid. I could link any item that I want to link. In this case, I'm going to do a dissolve into this sparrow screen, just like that, okay? Let's do a couple more things. Ready? Ready for this? I'm going to get super fancy on you because I can. I'm going to duplicate this screen. Boom. Probably go for 5 more minutes. But now I have 3 screens, and what I'm thinking for these screens, again, I'm going to get into prototyping here in a second, but I'm going to have the backgrounds change into, you know, just like different images, right? So that's what I want. But not only that, I want this to rotate a number of times. So it's going to rotate. Let's just take these and let's just ungroup symbols. Okay, so the key thing is we need to remember the names of these. These are all called logo, but I'm going to do an auto animate. It's going to go from here to here. This is going to rotate this way, maybe. It's not going to be perfect, though. I got to kind of work on that. Please forgive me. Rotate. Rotate up. Right? Duplicate again. Rotate to the side. It's going to be slightly wonky, but please forgive me. And now when I go to prototype, this is something new, but I think it's hugely, just awesomely, hugely valuable. We're going to have this screen go to this screen, and guess what? It's going to do a time animate. So it's going to stay here for 1 second, and then it's going to auto animate. Okay, so I want you to be able to see the image, and then it's going to go to the next one and go to the next one. So basically I made a cool little intro animation, right? Time, auto animate, boom, boom, boom. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. This one's going to go here, time, auto animate. Time, auto animate. And again, just check your work. Yep, yep. Last one's going to go back to the first one. Done. Guess what? Anytime you click on this logo, it's just going to go to that screen. Right? And it's just going to do a dissolve. The problem is I do not have this icon or this logo in the exact same spot. So it's going to move around a little bit. I'd get a little more exact if I had more time. All right, clicking the preview button, and we can watch it change. Zoop, 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 zoop. And then you have to add your own sound effects. Zoop, 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 zoop. You get the idea. Click on it. It's going to take me to this main screen. Sure enough, can I go back? You guessed it. I can go back and watch that animation. Right, we have the second screen. Clicking on Sparrow transitions to it as well. Okay. I'm going to switch over to the final just for fun. And thank you so much for joining me. Today is all about UX and UI. So we're just happy that hopefully you can join us. That'd be fantastic. And you're right, Gina, it is the bomb. Thank you, Ty. Brilliant. We can get more. It does kind of have a rotary phone feel. And it's funny because it's a film reel, so it's very like retro. And I'm kind of into it, right? have fun with auto animate. I think auto animate is like one of the most fun features in general. Here's another fun one for travel. Zoop, 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 zoop. Okay. So that's all about bike or the sharing economy for transportation. That's that version. But I can also jump in here to this one just to get you excited. First off, just to show you all these screens, as you start to blow this out, you can have, you know, sort of make a prototype for web, for instance, high fidelity in this case. So you can do everything from wireframes to, of course, the final design, clear to the mobile, to really pretty much you can interact and create anything that you want. I wanted to go to this. Let's see if this may or may not. I guess we'll see if this works. Auto animate and voice. So you'll see a film reel again, kind of extending this out. I'm going to click play. You can have voice interaction. So what's happening here, if I go into prototype, this link right here, I'm just going to change this to find tickets. So when I say find tickets, it's going to transition to the next screen. Okay? Just like that. And then right here, I'll say confirm purchase. So let's just see. Let's check this out. I'm going to hold down the space bar. Find tickets. Finds tickets. Confirm purchase. Ah, that one worked. And it confirmed the purchase as well. Okay, so that's auto animate with voice, just to give you an idea for what you can do. You are right, George. The menus are different from Photoshop. Yeah, they are different. You'll notice everything's contextual. So as I select something, I'm going to get the properties for it. So rather than having all those panels already available to you, you just elevate what you need when you have it selected. So that's why I like the idea of a properties panel. So, but good observation. So hopefully you like that. There's about 1,000 other things you can do. I also encourage you to go to File, Get UIKits right over here. And there are wireframes, and then there's just more UI kits. So if you just need something to play with, just play around. Break something. It's okay. You really can't break it, right? Just have a backup file. Okay, but right in here, you can see the UI kits, an auto animate UI kit, Adobe, Amazon Alexa UI kit, on down the line. So tons of resources out there at your disposal. Use them, have fun, and don't forget to join us this week as I wind down. Thank you so much. Join Howard tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Actually 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm in Mountain time. That's why it's showing me that. But 9 a.m. Pacific time will be great. And that's about it. So yeah, it could be similar like Sketch. I would like to think actually Sketch is like XD, okay? Yeah, so we're getting, versioning is a request, by the way, just to answer your question, Marcelli. And Cloud Docs, by the way. Once I share this, which is something I didn't get into, we could share this document with others. So as you start sharing, you're gonna want versioning. So don't worry, it actually is coming. And if you're curious about what's on the roadmap, go to Help right down here to provide feedback. And this is user voice, as we call it. And this will tell you all the features, if I go to feature requests, and kind of like where they're at, right? And you can see them right in here, what has been upvoted. And you can see this features in the backlog. This feature's under review by Damien. So that's about it, everybody. I'm going to be respectful of your time. Thank you so much. I do apologize for having technical issues earlier. I just basically had to restart everything except for my Mac, which I actually restarted before I even began. Anyways, now I know what to do for next time. Just restart everything and pray to the internet gods, right? Join me later today. I'm going to be with a creative resident as well, talking about the creative residency. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a beautiful day. I appreciate you. And we will catch you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thanks so much, everyone.